nuclear capabilities. NBC News is working to confirm all of those details. Jamil Jaffer, founder and executive director of the National Security Institute at George Mason University, is here to tell us some of those broader implications at play. But I do want to begin with NBC News Homeland Security correspondent Julia Ainsley. Julia, this report sort of uses these strong words to describe what was found, but we already knew from court filings that dozens of classified documents were seized. So what are the biggest takeaways, from this report when we look at what's new?
It's really the nuclear capabilities of that foreign country. We don't know what country that is. And also, we should say NBC has not independently confirmed this. But according to the Washington Post, there was some very sensitive secret information so closely held that it would have had to be approved by someone at the cabinet level or near cabinet level to be seen about a foreign country's nuclear capabilities. What I'm most interested in here, and what I think we would think that the National Intelligence, Director of National Intelligence would be interested in, is whether or not the sources of this information were also disclosed, because that could put real people in danger who are risking their lives to give the American government that information. The information itself may be able to be found in other places. It may not just be in that document, but could this damage U.S. intelligence abroad and put real lives at stake? That's a question here. And I think that's probably something that was on the minds of the Justice Department when they approved this unprecedented search in August.
So it's not just the documents, it's not what's in the documents necessarily, but it's also the people who may have been behind providing that information.
Right. And we haven't seen it ourselves, so it's unclear exactly what was disclosed. But oftentimes when you're presenting information, such as in a presidential daily briefing, you're not only showing what information they have, but there also could be keys to U.S. intelligence sources in those materials.
Julia, we've heard a lot from former President Trump on Truth Social, his social network, in response to the FBI raid and search. What is he saying now in response to this report?
Well, a communications director for the Trump team did say that this is just the latest in how the Washington Post continues to serve as a propaganda arm of the Biden administration. And instead of operating openly and honestly, they collude in never-ending leaks and lies at the expense of the integrity of the FBI and DOJ. This is really just like a prime target right here for Trump's team. They love going after the media, the FBI, the Justice Department. They're getting 3 in 1 here. We're going to see more and more Trump trying to defend what was in these materials and that they weren't sensitive, because this report from the Washington Post totally drives a truck through what he's been saying.
Which is interesting because, given now how sensitive we understand these documents to be, the Trump team has asked for the so-called independent special master. How would you even pick someone who is qualified, independent enough, even has the clearance necessary to review all of these documents?
Well, we may see the Justice Department making that argument. We're still waiting to see if they're going to appeal that decision from the Trump-appointed judge to grant that request for a special master. Now, if they don't appeal it, they have until Friday to propose their candidate. It may be someone who has to get read in, who has to have their security clearance increased to see this top secret information.
Wow. Julia Ainsley. That was incredible.
Good to be here with you guys in person.
You joining us live in studio. We really appreciate it, Julia.
Thanks, Julia.
Let's go ahead and bring in Jamil Jaffer. He's the founder and executive director of the National Security Institute at George Mason University. Jamil, it's good to see you on this Wednesday. Look, only a handful of countries actually have nuclear capabilities. Let's just sort of start there. So what are some of the larger concerns that this reporting actually brings to the forefront when it comes to trust, when it comes to those nuclear capabilities?
That's a great question, Morgan. I mean, one of the challenges in this space is it's not just the information we have about these foreign countries and their nuclear capabilities. It's how we got it. Did we get it from a human source? Did it come from sensitive signals intelligence? Did it come from some other kind of sensing capability? And the fear is that if these documents are stored improperly, if a foreign nation gets their hands on them, they may know more about how we got the information, not just the information itself, but how we got it.
Jamil, one key line of the report is this, quote, that only the president, some members of his cabinet, or a near cabinet level official could authorize other government officials to know details of these special access programs. Julia touched on it as well. This is, again, according to people who are familiar with what happened. So knowing what you know now at this point, how big of a deal is it for a former president to hold on to a document like this in their private home, if indeed this did happen?
Well, I think it's unprecedented. I mean, the idea of special access programs or special access required material for a president to have that material in their homes in an insecure setting would be unheard of. They might have it temporarily, typically in a secure compartment information facility to read, and then you put it in its own safe in that SCIF. You wouldn't have it sitting mixed in with other papers and the like in a storage room at a place like Mar-a-Lago. And that's, I think, what the real concern is, that protecting those sources and methods, protecting the information that we have on these foreign government military capabilities and potentially nuclear capabilities.
Jamil Jaffer for us there. Jamil, as always, thanks so much for joining us. We really appreciate your expertise.